All the talk of trading Deshaun Watson. Trading Deshaun. I want to be traded. Matter of fact, he asked weeks ago. We had not heard from the Houston Texans. We started the show by saying, like, look, I don't know how to break it to you, but the Houston Texans don't actually have to trade Deshaun Watson. He signed a contract after they traded Nuke Hopkins. That contract paid him $73 million up front in cash, which is not just signing bonus for this first year and for the contract, but for this coming year and the following year. He's already been paid for those years. So it's money they can't recoup. They're not going to just like, oh, hey, we paid you for 3 years. You played one. You have a good run. You have a good life. Plus, there's a tax bill, not a tax bill. There's a dead cap money if he leaves. Like, the whole thing is not great. And what's the best case scenario in the draft? You draft a quarterback to become Deshaun Watson? Yeah, that doesn't. Oh, yeah, I should mention that if you trade Deshaun Watson in basically the first year of his new deal, what does it say about anybody else under contract with the Texans that wants out? Well, Nick Casario is the new general manager of the Texans. He came over from the New England Patriots, and he had this to say at his press conference about an hour ago.
Just want to reiterate our commitment to Deshaun Watson. He's had a great impact on this organization, a great impact on a lot of people, a great impact on this team. And we look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring once we get started. And, we have zero interest in trading the player. We have a great plan, a great vision for him and for this team and his role on our team. And we look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring.
That was Nick Casario, the new general manager, who's just like, hey, look, we look forward to spending time with him. That's his first statement. We have no intention of trading him. Do I think he's telling the truth? I do. I think it's highly unlikely they trade him. Now, if somebody says, like, we'll give you the kitchen sink, then sure. You got to consider it. The problem is Jacksonville is a team that could throw the kitchen sink at him, and I don't think Jacksonville will do it. And while you could say, hey, Deshaun is a proven player, Trevor is not proven. Deshaun makes a lot more money, so he eats up more cap space. Additionally, look, Deshaun's been hurt a lot. He's torn both ACL and both knees. He's obviously tougher than a $2 steak. He's played with a collapsed lung and taken a van to a game in Jacksonville because he couldn't fly after that collapsed lung. I mean, that's a tough dude. But he is a guy that's been oft injured as opposed to Trevor Lawrence, who the worst thing that happened to him in college was that he got COVID. And so he missed a couple games, including the Notre Dame game. He's not an injured dude. So I think when you combine the amount of money that he makes, I'm talking about the number one overall pick, in comparison to what Deshaun makes, and Deshaun's been banged up, I don't even think that deal would make. I don't think Carolina can get in on it. I don't think, no matter how many picks you give, you're sitting there going like, what's the best case scenario if we do make a pick? What, that he becomes a Deshaun Watson? Why? We already have Deshaun Watson, and he's under contract for the next 5 years. I believe him. I absolutely believe him. I think this is the plan. The rest is just internet fodder. The rest is just, we've seen this before. I know it sounds and feels believable. Take what happened in Washington, D.C. a couple weeks ago, right? There were people who were convinced, absolutely convinced, that there would be no change of power, right? What's that pillow guy? I look forward to, Trump's second administration. Like, he was all in. Pillow guy was all in. Like, yeah, that's not actually how it's going to, never mind. How many TV shows have been dedicated to Deshaun Watson? Where should he go? How many radio shows have been, the Jets, the Cowboys, the Rams, look, do I think that's what his agent wants to do, to engineer a trade to get him to a team where he can compete right away, a city that he can sell him and he can be happier? Sure. Here's the problem. You got a contract. And there's not a lot of places or a lot of people that are going to hold you to that contract, but it appears the Houston Texans are one of them. And he just signed the contract. It's not like it's the last year of a deal. It's basically the first year of the deal. He got paid in advance for a deal, which really becomes real, tangible money against the cap this year. And I think that's going to be a tough one. So Casario came in, and it's one thing to go, we're not trading him. It's another thing to be effuse in your praise and saying we have no plans to trade him. Once again, if you missed it, this is Nick Casario, the new GM of the Texans.
Just want to reiterate our commitment to Deshaun Watson. He's had a great impact on this organization, a great impact on a lot of people, a great impact on this team. And we look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring once we get started. And, we have zero interest in trading the player. We have a great plan, a great vision for him and for this team and his role in our team. And we look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring.
Okay. My feeling about Deshaun Watson, and I have not heard anybody say a bad word about the dude, not one guy, say a bad word about Deshaun Watson. But if he is what he purports himself to be, then he absolutely owes not just one, but a litany of conversations with everybody involved. If whatever happened between him and Jack Easterby happened, you don't have to talk to Jack Easterby, but you want to meet with your new general manager, you want to meet with your new head coach, you want to meet with your new quarterback coach, your new offensive coordinator. Those are guys, sit down, have a cup of coffee, talk it out. What are our plans? What are we going to do the draft? What are we going to do? This is the kid who is the starting star player. Coach gets fired. New coach comes in and without meeting with him, puts himself in the transfer portal and decides I'm leaving. Where are you going? And the only difference is, in college sports, you used to have to sit out a year. Sometimes, obviously, now you don't. In the NFL, he got paid up front for 3 years of service, and he only played one. I don't see any way in which they move him. And that appears to be what their plan is as well. If you acquiesce to Deshaun Watson having just signed a deal 6-7 months ago on a contract and then trade him because he's not happy, who can't walk into the office and say the exact same thing? That's not any way to run any sort of business, especially the business of sports. Yeah, they were bad this year. But the quarterback sets a good portion of the culture. Not all of it. Right? The president does, the GM does, the head coach absolutely does. But there's also a leader on offense and a leader on defense. And the offense has to be buttoned up. That's on him. And frankly, he's the leader of the team. That torch has been passed from J.J. Watt to Deshaun Watson a while back because J.J. Watt is a shell of the player he used to be because of all those years and all that mileage and all those injuries he sustained. So I agree with what the Texans are doing. Because, you get these leaked stories, which are clearly all coming from Deshaun Watson's agent, about how he's, what is it that he, not hardcore, what's the term used that he wants to, he's ready to get after it. He's ready to hold firm to a stance. Like, really? Everybody says that. Everybody says, well, he's really dug in. I am not ever going to cross that line. You cross that line and it's over. Okay, here's another line. You cross that line and it's over. I can't think of how many negotiations. It's like the old last and final. My old agent used to say that. There's no such thing as last and final. If we're still talking, there's no last and final negotiation offer. It's just this is the last one they've come to us with.